If you guys want to watch me play some Destiny live, a link to my Twitch is in the description below. Yo, what's going on guys? It's G-Miners here, and in this video, I wanted to test out pellet shotguns versus slug shotguns. Pellets received a 25% overall buff this season, 15% in the recent hotfix, and a while back, slug shotties got pretty heavily nerfed. For boss bakes especially, people will also still use double slugs as they deal great DPS, so I specifically wanted to see if double aggressive frames could compete while swapping. Going into this, I thought it was a long shot, but pellets are actually way stronger than I had expected. If you guys enjoy this video, don't forget to drop a like and sub down below. Subbing takes 2 seconds, it's completely free, and you can always change your mind later. The two slugs most people use are Heritage and Philo, aka first in, last out. Heritage rolls with Reconstruction, and Philo has Vorpal and autoloading. For pellets, the two best options seemed to be Ragnhild and Found Verdict. Ragnhild is craftable, so I would say autoloading and Frenzy are the best options for this. And then for Found Verdict, it would be autoloading and Vorpal. I'm going to go over the damage numbers that each shotty hits for now, and then after that, get into the most optimal ways to increase swapping speed, and then test for the highest DPS. Heritage as a kinetic slug hits for 40k with no damage perks, and then Philo, which is an energy but also has Vorpal, will hit for 44k. Even though Vorpal is 15% here, kinetics deal more damage than energy weapons, so this is why there's not a 15% difference exactly between the two. And then for our pellet shotguns, Ragnhild, which is our kinetic, hits for 3500 times 12, which is 42,000, and Found Verdict hits for 3840 times 12, which is 46k. Now this sounds pretty close to the slugs with just a slight boost in damage, but the slugs are benefiting from their full damage potential with a crit. Crits with shotguns are a 1.1x multiplier, so hitting a perfect crit with the pellet shotties, Ragnhild now hits for 46k and Found Verdict hits for 51,000. If we add just these two numbers up for each, our slugs hit for a total of 84,000 and aggressive frame pellet shotguns hit for 97k. Overall, this is a 15% increase in damage with the pellets. I also didn't have Frenzy on my Ragnhild, so this could have brought our damage potential up to 53k for this weapon, which would have been an overall increase in damage of around 25% compared to the slug shotguns. The reason I think that this is also a fair point to make is because Heritage doesn't have any good damage increasing perks that are consistent, and if you were to use Fortissimo instead of Heritage, you miss out on autoloading, so you don't have a way to reload that slug for longer damage phases. When it comes to swapping, most people use OPHIDIAN aspects on Warlock. At base, these give plus 32 handling. On top of that, I am also using Quick Charge, which gives another plus 20 weapon handling to shotguns, along with other weapons listed. Slug shotguns by default have extremely good handling, so they are going to be maxed out with this bonus plus 50 handling, but my pellets will not be maxed out. On top of this, I am also using Quick Access Sling on each weapon for a 0.9x scaler. Shotgun dexterity should be another 0.8x multiplier. I'm honestly not sure how many of these multipliers stack, but I just threw everything on just in case. So without 100 handling for our pellets, slug shotguns should have a distinct advantage in damage testing here. For the test, I'm going to be shooting off 20 total shots. Looking at slugs first, I shot 10 of each, which would have come out to 840,000 total damage. We dealt this in around 15 seconds, so our DPS would have come out to 55.7k. And keep in mind that this also doesn't include having something like a rocket or linear to swap to in the heavy slot, so we do lose a lot of damage when just testing these alone. And then looking at our pellets, I shot 11 shots of my kinetic and 9 of my energy. Using the damage numbers for my kinetic without Frenzy, this would have come to 965,000 total damage. This took 16.42 seconds, so overall, it was around 1.5 seconds longer to deal the damage, but our DPS came out to 58.8 thousand. So even with a slightly slower swapping speed, pellets are ahead right now. And just for kicks and giggles, if we had been using the Frenzy damage number, this would have been 1.04 million total damage and 63.5 thousand damage per second. If we switch to Hunter and use Dragon Shadow each time we dodge, we're going to get max handling for all weapons, a 0.95x multiplier, and all weapons are instantly reloaded on dodge, on top of a long list of other benefits. For this testing, I am still using one dexterity mod, quick access sling, and quick charge just in case my handling goes down. Wraith Metal Mail, which is the exotic perk, also lasts 9 seconds in total. Looking at slugs first, this time I shot 10 of each, so once again, we're looking at 840,000 total damage. Surprisingly, the time to deal damage increased by a ton, even though the only major difference should have been an extra 5% decrease in the weapon swap scaler and throwing in some dodges for reloads. On Your Mark was also procced, but that is just a bonus to handling, which we are already maxed out on. Overall, this took 12.54 seconds, so our DPS came out to 67k. The pellets, on the other hand, didn't feel as fast. The fire rate of the aggressive frames is what seems to really be holding it back. I shot 10 of each this time around, so that is going to be 970,000 total damage. This took us around 14.6 seconds, so definitely a lot quicker, but not as high of an increase as the slugs. This came to 66.4 thousand damage per second. And then once again, if we were to be using the frenzy damage numbers, this would have been 1.04 million in total and 71.2k damage per second. Overall, I would say that most people are going to tend to use OPHIDIANs for swapping or just base hunter dodge to skip autoloading, so it seems pretty fair to say in most cases, pellets are equal to slugs, if not slightly better. I also think that precision frames could potentially be better than the aggressives with equivalent impact and a much higher rate of fire. And it's also important to note that pellets will deal much higher total damage than slugs. Most of the time increase when using Dragon Shadow was also from the dodge rather than the extra handling itself, so I don't see this as an exotic that's super necessary. For just using 2 non-exotic special weapons, I think the DPS you get is still insane, and we also didn't throw in any heavy into the combination. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Anyways, that's all for this video, guys. As always, have a good one. Peace.